Good afternoon, dear friends. Are you here? I would like to hear from you some words. Please indicate your presence. I see first students. First student, only one yet? More? Okay. Okay, maybe let's start. Continue our work and our topic, unit, about physiology of endocrine system, about humoral, physiology of humoral regulation and the endocrine system. We'll continue our talk about endocrine system and about glands, if you remember, I hope. Glands that participate in regulation of physical, mental and sexual development. During first lecture we have considered mostly and mainly questions about physical and mental development, and we have only one gland which participate in this regulation. I didn't indicate this gland. It's pancreas, which participate in regulation of growth by such hormone as somatostatin. You know already about growth hormone of pituitary gland. Somatostatin is a hormone antagonist of growth hormone. So all effects which you know already about growth hormone, opposite effects belong to physiological action of somatostatin. If we'll resume our knowledge about sorry, I cannot. What's matter? What's matter? Sorry, just a moment. If we'll resume our knowledge about all glands which participate in growth and development of our body, we should to remember that first of all it's somatotropic hormone or growth hormone of pituitary. It's hormones of thyroid glands, T3 and thyroxine, T4, which play very important role in development and differentiation of tissues and development of brain, for example, and mental development. It's suprarenal glands which produce sexual hormones. I told you about it at previous lecture. And finally, it's pancreas, which participate in regulation of growth by producing hormone somatostatin. You can see on this slide this graph of which demonstrate us importance of all these glands at different stages of growth, different stages of ontogenesis. For example, you can see here hormones, thyroid hormones. First of all, these hormones play very important role at early stages of ontogenesis, first years of life. Growth hormone, active till 20-25 years, maximal production of these hormones and linear growth of our body. And you can see here that during pubertal period, more role belong to sexual hormones, androgen and estrogen, male and female hormones of gonads. Not suprarenal glands, but gonads. And on this picture you can see some differences between time of maturation, sexual maturation of girls and boys. Not so significant difference. Okay, now we should to consider role gonads in sexual development. First of all, it needs to say that the gonads in male organism, it's testes, which produce androgens or male sex hormones, and the most active hormone is testosterone, which provides spermatogenesis in male organism. And in female organism, it's ovaries. These are ovaries, which produce estrogens. The most active hormones between estrogens is estrone and estradiol, and hormone progesterone. These hormones production of these hormones regulate production of these hormones is regulated by gonadotropic hormones of pituitary, and I would like to say you about other effects of ovaries. Ovaries provides ovogenesis, of course, but not only, because these hormones provides production of hormones regulating secretion gonadotropic hormones of pituitary, for example, follistatin, statins, such hormones, and acting on target organs, reproductive system, of course, but not only, bones, mammillary glands, etc. And besides this effect on sexual development, these hormones have other effects. It's regulation of concentration of proteins in plasma. It's increasing of anti-atherogenic lipids in plasma, for example, alpha cholesterol, and its influence on electrolyte balance in female organism. So, the most active period of gonads and progress in development of gonads we have during pubescence or pubertal period. And this period, as you can see here, for male it's 9 till 14 age, and female earlier 8-14 age. And the initiation of development and the activation of these gonads is realized by action of follicular-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone of pituitary. Follicular-stimulating hormone initiates development of follicles, its function of this hormone, initiates secretion of estrogens in female and stimulates spermatogenesis in male. Luteinizing hormone initiates ovulation in female, stimulates of synthesis and secretion of testosterone and estrogens. And under influence of these hormones, sexual development during this period realizes. In male organism and Russian words, female reproductive system, we have main hormones which have some important functions. In male reproductive system, I repeat again, it's testosterone, which is secreted by Leydig cells in testes, and testosterone is responsible for distinguished characteristics of the masculine body. These characteristics, we can divide it into two groups. It's primary science, sexual organ, and secondary science. It's distribution of body hair, baldness, decrease of growth of hair on the top of the head, its effect on the voice, for example, hypertrophy of laryngeal mucosa, etc. Sexual characteristic. And of course, main effect is providing of spermatogenesis in male. In female organism, main hormones, estrogens and progesterones. These hormones providing oogenesis, stimulate production of female sexual hormones, and of course responsible for distinguished characteristic of the female body. Let's stop on characteristic of male reproductive system. Here you can see different stages of main process, reproductive process, it's spermatogenesis, which occurs in seminiferous tubules. You can see here cross-section of this tissue. This process lasts approximately 70 days. Plus time to transport to duct of spermatozoids, it's 14 days. And in semiferous tubules you can see different cells. It's spermatogonia, which develops in result into through some stages into spermatocyte, primary and secondary. And you can see here and you can see here. It's tubules, it's primary spermatocyte, it's spermatogonium, and finally it's spermatozoids, which can come in duct and carries out its function. Besides, testosterone have another effects. It's not only spermatogenesis, its influence on some metabolic processes and other tissues and systems. For example, testosterone stimulates protein synthesis and muscular development. It means that this hormone has anabolic effect. in result of action of testosterone, we can observe bone growth and stimulation of calcium retention. Testosterone, due to anabolic effect, influence on basal metabolism, on erythropoiesis, on red blood cells, production of red blood cells. That's why number of erythrocytes in the male organism higher than in female organism. And this hormone can influence on electrolyte and water balance, salt-water balance. Tell me please, are you hear me and you can see well slides which I show you? Concerning mechanism of action of this hormone, first of all, in testes, testosterone comes through membrane. You know maybe already that it's lipophilic hormone. That's why this hormone can come through membrane. Okay, thank you. In cytoplasm, interaction between this hormone and the receptors in not in plasma, in nuclei, and the receptors occurs, but not only testosterone combine this receptor, because some part of testosterone can transform in dihydrotestosterone under influence such enzyme as alpha reductase. Why only one student told me yes, and where are all the students which that indicated presence, your presence? And it's interesting that development, sexual development depends on some points of this mechanism. If we have disorders or disturbance of this mechanism, for example, if we have failure this enzyme, or defects of receptors in nuclei, it may be reason false male hermaphroditism, insufficient development, sexual development of male. More, but not so many. Changes of testosterone this age you can see here during fetal period, neonatal period, and the maximal production of testosterone you can see during pubertal period and during period of fertility, when reproductive system can have the most active functioning. Female reproductive system, sorry here mistake, oogenesis of course, function of this system and gonads, and its production, female sexual hormones. Main effects of these hormones, estrogen I mean, on the primary uterus and external female sexual organs, and the secondary, its distribution of body hair, effect of the voice, breasts, fat distribution, etc. And these hormones provide proliferative phase of endometrial cycle. I told you about it later. Besides this effect, we have other effects of these hormones. First of all, it's development of bony skeleton by activation osteoblasts, but influence on the epiphyseal cartilage. It causes inhibition linear growth of bones and vice versa. In result of failure of production, we have opposite changes. And it's stimulation of proteins and in particular lipid synthesis. And due to that, female figure has some peculiarities, you know, or you understand. Our hormone, female hormone, it's progesterone. It's hormone of corpus luteum. This hormone provides the secretory phase of endometrial cycle after ovulation and luteal phase of the ovarian cycle. We have two cycles in female organism, reproductive cycles. Progesterone has significant influence on electrolyte balance, enhance of sodium, chloride, and watery absorption in kidneys. Influence on the breast, stimulation of secretory activity causes increase of size of breast. And this hormone has catabolic effect. And due to that, we have increase of temperature, basal temperature before ovulation. And this effect gives us opportunity to determine time of ovulation. That's why this peculiarity gives us a rhythmic method of physiological contraception. You can see here changes of basal temperature during follicular and luteal phases, and changes concentration of progesterone, you can see before ovulation here. We have very high increasing, very high concentration and increasing of this hormone, and due to action, catabolic action of progesterone, after that we have increase of basal temperature, and this production and secretion progesterone is initiated by luteinizing hormone. You can see how concentration of this hormone increases as well. So if we want to determine days when this temperature will increase, we can determine time of ovulation. And sexual contacts, if sexual contacts during this time will be excluded, it means that you have physiological contraception, and the pregnancy will not be if you don't want. Okay, let's consider ovarian cycle. Ovarian cycle lasts approximately 28 days, and about every 28 days, gonadotropic hormones cause new follicles to begin to grow in the ovaries, and you can see these stages of maturation of follicles, and it's first follicle phase of ovarian cycle, which lasts 14 days. After ovulation, you can see here, ovulation is disruption of follicle and of lutein, and ovulation when ovaries, when follicles come to ducts, it's 2 days and it's ovulate phase. The secretory cells of the follicle develop into a corpus luteum that secretes progesterone and estrogens. And after 2 weeks, it's luteal phase, which lasts till 28 days. It's a second part of ovarian cycle. The corpus luteum degenerates and the level of hormones decreases and menstruation begins. You can see here ovulation, it's ovarian cycle or ovarian events. You can see here concentration of gonadotropic hormones, follicular-stimulated hormones, blue color, and luteinizing hormones. Production of these hormones is red color. And phases, follicular phase, ovulation, and luteal phase. And here you can see uterus or menstrual cycle. First part of this cycle, it's proliferative phase, which lasts 20-40 days. And the estrogens provide these changes of endometrium of uterus. Then secretory phase. During this phase, we have stimulation production of progesterone, and progesterone prepare endometrium to to provide implantation of follicle, and if it's not possible, in this case, third stage, it's desquamation of endometrial and menstruation we can observe. And you can see here changes of endometrium during menstrual cycle, during proliferative phase, it's hyperplasia of endometrium, secretory phase under influence of progesterone, here estrogens act, here progesterone mostly. And after that, just desquamation and menstruation. Okay, next question. I hope you remember that we'll consider all gonads in accordance with some scheme or algorithm. It's a gland, it's hormones of this gland, its physiological effects of these glands, its mechanism, its regulatory mechanism of secretion, regulatory mechanism of this gland, and mechanism of action of hormones of these glands. And after that, more or less, some disorders, hyper or hypofunction of some glands. Concerning mechanism of regulation of activity of gonads, I told you already that it's gonadotropic hormones, which are produced by adenohypophysis, it's follicle stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone, which act on ovaries or testes In the result of that, we have some concentration of male or female, as here, hormones in blood, and in accordance feedback mechanism, we have opposite influence on pituitary and the hypothalamus. And it depends on concentration of these hormones. We have stimulation or inhibition of production liberins or statins by hypothalamus and trophic hormones, gonadotropic hormones of hypophysis. For example, if concentration of hormones, female or male hormones in blood increases, in this case we have inhibition of production of trophic hormones, and vice versa. If we have decreased concentration of these hormones, we can observe stimulation of liberins and trophic hormones by hypothalamus and hypophysis. Take into account, please, because in your practical lessons you have task 5 about estimation of concentration of trophic hormones of pituitary, and almost all students do a mistake when say that increase of, for example, thyrotropic hormone in blood means hypofunction of thyroid glands. It's not so, because when we have hypofunction of thyroid glands, it means that in accordance this negative feedback mechanism, we can observe stimulation of production of trophic hormones. So, if we have hypofunction, for example, as here for gonads, if we have decrease of estrogen, for example, estrogens, it means that in accordance with this feedback mechanism, we can observe stimulation of hypothalamus and pituitary. And in result of that, we can observe increase of gonadotropic hormones and gonadoliberin. I hope it will be more understand for you in the result of my explanation. On this slide you can see how number of primordial follicles changes during different stages of ontogenesis in female organism. It needs say that actually female organism has 4,000, as you can see here, not 4, more. You can see how much follicles, but only from this number, only 300 or 400 achieve maturity. And this age, of course, number of these follicles becomes less and less. Very interesting question about sexual differentiation. Such scientist Angie Ghost indicated three types of sex. First of all, it's chromosomal sex. When male and future male and female organism receives a different set of chromosomes. But it's chromosomal sex. If we have X and Y chromosomes, in this case, gonad chromosomal sex is male. And if X and X, in this case, it will be maybe female organism. Why maybe? Because not only this set determine future sex of child. Second stage, it's gonad sex, which is determined by production of hormones. For example, if you can see here that we have, after fertilization, we have bipotential gonad in male and in female organism as well. If during this stage production of testosterone will increase, in this case we can get development of male organism. If no, in this case we can observe development of female organism. So quantity of hormones as well determine determination of sexual differentiations. And ends this process by formation of secondary sexual signs under influence of hormones by gonads during pubertal period. And it needs say that till 7 and 8 weeks, sex of child cannot, cannot be determined, actually. Some disorders, again, Russian. What disorders of function of gonads? Failure of male and female sex hormones and prevalence of opposite sex hormones. For example, in male organism we have prevalence female hormones and vice versa. Causes violations of phenotypic sex. It's third type of sex, phenotypic sex. It means such a state as false hermaphroditism. And you can see here such persons, hermaphrodites, which looks as persons that have signs of both sexes. It needs say, maybe you know already, I hope, that male and female hormones don't mean that in males we have only androgens and in females only estrogens and progesterone. Both types of hormones present in both sexes, but prevalence in male organism of male hormones we have, and prevalence in female organism of female hormones we have. You should understand it. It's important, in particular now, at present days, because due to chemical pollution of external environment, we have very many different chemical substances in component of external environment which have action, physiological action, biochemical action, similar action of hormones. That's why frequently and more in time we have a situation when more and more persons, you know maybe already about it, persons cannot be exactly male or female organism and have some disorders in sexual development. Are you hearing me? I would like to know, took you into account this information that I said just said you, sorry. Okay, some words about temporary gland, it's placenta, which produces placenta, some types of hormones. It's placental estrogens, it's progesterone, it's human chorionic somatomamotropin, and it's oxytocin. Main effects of these hormones you can see here. Estrogens, for example, enlargement of the uterus, enlargement of the breasts, and enlargement of the external genitalia during pregnancy. Placental progesterone provides development of the uterine endometrium and the nutrition of embryo, decrease the contractility of the gravid uterus, prevention uterine contraction from causing spontaneous abortion, possible due to death. It's preparation the breast for lactation, together these estrogens. Human chorionic somatomamotropin, it's very important hormone of placenta. Production of its hormone begins since 5 weeks. This hormone causes partially development of breasts and lactation, has a weak action similar to growth hormone, and this hormone causes decreased insulin sensitivity and decreased utilization of glucose in the mother. And you can see how, what kind of changes in production of different hormones by placenta we have in 3 trimester of pregnancy here. Okay, and lactation. After birth, lactation is initiated by prolactin, and in this case milk secretion begins. Chorionic somatomamotropin has lactogenic properties, and oxytocin initiates of milk ejection. And during lactation, we have separation of female ovarian cycles. It's a protection from next pregnancy. Concerning age changes, fertility after completion of pubertal period lasts until dying of sexual function. Usually it's approximately 30 years of female organism life. Okay, it was a unit about mental, physical and sexual development and participation different glands in providing of this development. And now we'll continue our talk about role of endocrine glands in regulation of homeostasis and adaptation. Before that, I would like to say you that regulation of homeostasis and adaptation, optimal adaptation, it's very important processes which provide our health, quality of our health. Glands that participate in regulation of homeostasis, you can see here. It's again thyroid and parathyroid glands, but now we'll talk about other hormones which regulate of calcium balance. Calcium ions, you know, is very important ions which regulate and participate in many processes in functioning of excitable tissues, etc. It's pancreas which regulate of concentration of glucose concentration. It's the most important substrate of in energy providing. And it's adrenal glands or suprarenal glands which regulate the water salt balance and concentration of glucose and actually organic exchange in our body. About calcium balance, the role of thyroid glands in this regulation is concluded in production of calcitonin hormone, which regulate the calcium homeostasis together with thyroid hormone or parad hormone of the parathyroid glands. You can see here anatomy and histology of thyroid glands. It's behind of neck part of thyroid glands and parathyroid glands which are located here, and its histology of parathyroid glands and thyroid gland. You see some differences because thyroid gland has follicles, parathyroid glands hasn't. These hormones are functional antagonists. Calcitonin decreases the calcium level in blood, parathyroid hormone increases calcium level. And you can see here on this scheme that this hormone these hormones has the same target organs. Calcitonin act on bones and activates functional activity of osteoblasts. In result of that, blood calcium lowers, and this hormone inhibits tubular reabsorption of kidneys, not so significantly as parathyroid hormone, but as well. And in result of this, level of calcium in blood becomes lower. It's under influence calcitonin. Under influence of parathyroid glands, you can see here, we have opposite situation. It's a stimulation of osteoclasts. It's a stimulation of reabsorption of calcium and phosphorus, and stimulation of reabsorption of calcium in intestine, and in result of that, blood calcium level rises. So it's functional antagonists. But not only these hormones can determine level of calcium in blood. Vasopressin has similar effects. Vasopressin stimulates of calcium reabsorption in kidneys. Vitamin D3 increases of calcium reabsorption in kidneys and the intestine, and the level in plasma becomes more. And estradiol and glucocorticoid can some influence on this process as well. Control of calcium secretion. I see only 3 students reacted on my words. It's very bad, my dear friends. Okay, I continue. Mechanism of control mechanism of calcitonin secretion and parathyroid hormone secretion. First of all, it needs to say that most prominent factor controlling calcitonin secretion is extracellular concentration of ionized calcium. Elevated blood calcium level strongly stimulates calcitonin secretion, and secretion is suppressed when calcium concentration falls below normal. It's very interesting mechanism because it's local mechanism of regulation, not by means hypothalamus hypophyseal system. It's only local mechanism. Disorders of regulation of calcium balance. It needs to say that more serious situation we have when we have hyper or hyperfunction of parathyroid glands, not thyroid gland. It's so, and due to hyperparathyroidism, due to development of tumor, for example, cancer, production of this hormone can be higher, and in result of that, we have, for example, in children, rachitis, in result of calcium deficiency, and the formation of stones in kidneys, low heart rate, and such diseases as osteoporosis, you can see here. It's normal trabecular bone, and trabecular bone from a patient, this osteoporosis, you can see. In this case, damage of bones becomes very probable. Hypoparathyroidism can develop due to removal of thyroid glands, for example, thyroid gland. If a patient has hyperthyroidism state, or due to autoimmune destruction of parathyroid glands. In this case, tetanospasm can develop, and it is a result of decrease of calcium in blood and the increase of excitability of neurons. Okay. That's all about calcium balance maintaining, and now about regulation of glucose. First of all, of course, pancreas produce very important hormones and regulate of glucose concentration in blood, but not only. At first about pancreas some words. First of all, pancreas has twice functions. It's not only endocrine function, but exocrine function as well. This part of pancreas carries out exocrine function and participation in regulation of activity of digestive system, but about it later, next year, next term. About endocrine function, we should know that we have three types of cells, alpha, beta, and delta. About delta, which produce somatostatin, I told you already. And now about alpha cells, you can see here, and beta cells, which produce two hormones, it's glucagon and insulin, which regulate of level of glucose in blood. Physiological effects of these hormones, easy to remember if you remember that it's physiological antagonists. So insulin decreases the sugar or glucose level in blood, glucagon increases one. And this hormone has opposite mechanism of influence. Insulin, increase of membrane permeability in the liver and muscle cells, muscular cells, for glucose and amino acids. And stimulates, due to that, glycogen, protein, lipid synthesis. And production of this hormone is regulated by glucose. Again, it's local mechanism of regulation of peripheral endocrine glands, as you have just seen for regulation of calcium balance. Concerning other hormone, glucagon, we have opposite mechanism. This hormone mobilizes glucose from liver, and it leads to increase of sugar level in blood. And this hormone mobilizes lipid from fat depots. So it's physiological antagonists. On this slide you can see a mechanism of action of insulin on transport of glucose. You can see here insulin receptors and glucose ions for glucose. Insulin receptors accept insulin. In result of that, permeability for glucose, semi-permeability for glucose of membrane increases, and the glucose comes into cell, muscular cell or liver cell, and the concentration of glucose in blood decreases in this case. And the regulation of insulin level, you can see here Russian words, but I'll tell you in in English. You can see here glucose, which under influence of insulin comes to cell, changes permeability for potassium ions and calcium ions. And calcium ions, as we can observe in transmission in synapses, the same mechanism here. Calcium ions stimulates vesicles, this insulin, to release insulin in blood. And so we have auto-regulation, local mechanism of regulation of activity in production of insulin. So here, mechanism of action of insulin on transport of glucose and the decreasing effect of this hormone. And here you have contour of regulation of insulin level by glucose. It's local feedback mechanism, auto-regulation, I repeat again. So, almost for all glands we have central mechanism of regulation by hypothalamo-pituitary system. But for regulation and maintaining a concentration of glucose and calcium in blood, we have local feedback mechanism. Okay, disorders. Normal level of glucose, you can see approximately here. Hypofunction. We have as a result such disease as diabetes mellitus. It's insular diabetes, but we have diabetes of secondary type, and more persons, individuals in the world have this type of diabetes. And this type of diabetes is connected, this disorder, disturbances of functions of receptors, because quantity, concentration of insulin may be enough in this case, but receptors cannot function, doesn't function normally. In diabetes mellitus, insular diabetes, we have hypofunction insulin. And in this case, if the sugar level increases very strongly, maybe hypoglycemic coma. At this state, we have such symptoms as hyperglycemia, it's increase of level of glucose in blood, it's glucosuria, it's a high level of glucose in urine, it's polyuria due to increase of urine formation, and the polydipsia, increase of thirst due to polyuria. And stringent of lipolysis, the formation, excess fatty acids and ketones. That's why at hypoglycemic coma we have smell of acetone from this patient. It's a sign, it's a very typical characteristic of this functional state. And the hyperfunction can be due to tumor and at overdose of insulin in patient this diabetes mellitus. Next glands, adrenal glands, play very important role in regulation of mineral and regulation of organic exchange due to two groups of hormones. It's corticosteroids, I mean, first of all, mineral corticoids and glucocorticoids. About sexual hormones, I told you already. Adrenal glands regulate homeostasis by cortex, and first of all, due to these groups of hormones. And adrenal glands play very important role in providing of adaptation. But in this case, we talk about, first of all, medulla, but not only, because glucocorticoids play as well important role. You can see here three zones of cortex which produce mineral corticoids, glucocorticoids, and it's medulla, epinephrine and norepinephrine. First of all, let's start on characteristic of glucocorticoids. As it follows from name glucocorticoids, it means that these hormones first of all regulates and maintain level of glucose in blood, thanks to regulation of all types of organic exchange. It's metabolic effects on carbohydrates exchange, protein exchange, and fat exchange. You can see here all these effects, but I can say that concerning relation to all these organic substances, we have twice effects. Its stimulation, for example, glycolysis or lipolysis, and stimulation of gluconeogenesis and lipogenesis as well. So these hormones has twice effect on metabolism. These hormones release energy due to catabolic processes from one side, and from other side stimulate processes which recover these organic substances. It's very important, very significant importance of these hormones. But not only, because besides metabolic effects, these hormones influence on immune function. For example, glucocorticoid has anti-inflammatory effect and and immunosuppressive properties have, and we use it in practical medicine. Treatment different diseases, for example, for arthritis, dermatitis, many inflammatory diseases. Mineral corticoids play a critical role in regulation of concentration of minerals, particularly sodium and potassium. And the major effect of aldosterone, its effect on distal tubules of kidneys, where it stimulates exchange of sodium and potassium. Sodium stimulates reabsorption of sodium and the excretion of potassium. And these hormones promotes inflammatory effect, pro-inflammatory action has. Regulation of secretion of these hormones take into account this regulation mainly provides by so-called renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. ACT hormone and level of calcium as well play some role in regulation, but not so significant as renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. And the mechanism of this hormone, you can see here, it's stimulation, transcription of the gene encoding the sodium-potassium ATPase. Not so clear this mechanism, but all what we know now, it's synthesis of this enzyme in order to do more active reabsorption of aldosterone. Other hormones which regulate salt water balance, important hormone, it's sodium uretic hormone, which is produced by atrials in heart. This hormone is functional antagonist to aldosterone because increases excretion of sodium and the increase of diuresis, formation of urine. And you can see here how in heart this hormone synthesis of this hormone, how can be in heart, and after that influence on this hormone to in kidneys causes formation more quantity of urine, because in this case excretion of sodium increase, and together this sodium water can come out from our organism as well, and diuresis will increase. Hypofunction of suprarenal glands should to consider together both types of corticosteroids, mineral corticoids and glucocorticoids, because deficiency in aldosterone can occur by itself or more commonly in conjunction with a glucocorticoids deficiency. Such state we know as hypoadrenocorticism, or typical disease, Addison disease. What typical symptoms? First of all, it needs to say that it's dehydration of organism, and such interesting characteristic is bronze color of skin. You can see here such face, this such bronze color, and hands, it's normal color, and it's bronze color. It's pigmentation here and here, and without treatment by mineralocorticoid replacement therapy, aldosterone deficiency is lethal due to electrolyte imbalance and resulting hypotension and cardiac failure. It needs to say that hypofunction of mineral corticoid or hyperfunction of mineral corticoid more fatal for organism than deficiency or excess of glucocorticoids. Hyperfunction, you can see here, that hyperfunction we can observe due to tumor or cancer, for example, or due to excess of corticosteroids intakes. Here you can see face of patient this Cushing disease. It's real hyperfunction of corticosteroids, endogenic. And here you can see President of United States, John Kennedy, which have excess of corticosteroids intake, and this person, you can see, has some peculiarities in his face. And last topic about adaptation and the participation of hormones in providing on this process. First of all, it needs to say that word stress is very popular now, and such scientists as Hans Selye learned this physiological process and have shown participation and role, very important role of suprarenal glands in stress reaction. You can see that Selye said, when I think about the adrenal glands, you should think about stress. What we understand under stress, we first of all, we know that stress is response of organism on strong external factor. And first of all, in this case, we mean hormones of medulla. of suprarenal glands, which derive from exoderm and produces catecholamines, epinephrine and norepinephrine. And please take into your attention, we have unique situation when endocrine glands or gland is innervated by sympathetic nervous, not hypothalamo-hypophyseal system, but nervous system. And it provides very fast reaction on such strong stress factor. Hans Selye shown that reaction on this factor, very strong factor, it's typical reaction which develops independently from type of factor. These factors may have different nature, but what important that this factor has extreme force or extreme duration, and that's why due to system which provide reaction on this such strong factor, we combine and consider as sympathoadrenal system. Sympathetic part of autonomic nervous system, sympathetic fibers which innervate medulla of suprarenal glands, and together it's sympathoadrenal system which provide first stages of this reaction. But not only, because thyroid gland plays in this process important role as well. Due to action of stress factor, we have stimulation of sympathoadrenal system when first reaction from sympathetic nervous system, and then reaction from medulla and production of catecholamines cause some famous for you already effects. It's stimulation of almost all system of our body, excepting digestive system, in order to release many energy. So we have in stress reaction two ways. First way, it's activation sympathetic nervous system and medulla, and the releasing of catecholamines, norepinephrine and epinephrine, their effects. And second, maybe more long effect and more long reaction, late reaction, it's stimulation of hypothalamo-hypophyseal system. It's stress, you can see here, and activation not only medulla but cortex of suprarenal glands. And in result of that, we have first of all very strong activation and releasing of energy, and then stimulation of cortex and production of corticosteroids. These effects of corticosteroids. Mechanism of epinephrine action on target cell is typical for lipophilic hormones. You can see here how, not lipophilic, for hydrophilic hormones. This hormone interacts with alpha and beta adrenoreceptors on membrane. Activation, you can see here, adenylate C-class, phospholipase, and other enzymes, and in result of that, we have activation of protein synthesis. It's a typical mechanism for these hormones, for hydrophilic hormones. What I would like to say you as well, we have very interesting consequences in this mechanism. I would like to only remind you that main physiological effect of medullary hormones, the same as action of neurotransmitters of catecholamines in sympathetic nervous system. Its stimulation catabolic reaction and its stimulation activity of all our systems. For that we have increased rate and force of contraction of heart, constriction of blood vessels in order to increase blood pressure. It's dilation of bronchioles in order to more oxygen can be achieved to tissues, because action of strong stress factors means activation and dangerous situation for organism, as here, for example. It's classic model of stress, meeting of predator and sacrifice, and it means very active muscular contraction. That's why all physiological effects in this case means activation, releasing of energy and activation of all systems of our organism. Due to that, catecholamines we named as hormones to run away or attack, and and physiological sense of all effects, its stimulation of metabolism and stimulation of all systems in order to provide this reaction. But we have different, more or less different physiological providing of different stages of stress reaction. First stage, it's so-called alarm reaction. It's activation of sympathadrenal system. It's very, very big energy expenditure. That's why during second stage of resistance, our organism needs to recover of recover of organic substances which were destroyed during alarm reaction. During this stage, we have not only activation of sympathadrenal system, but activation of cortex and increase of corticosteroid production, glucocorticoids production first of all, because glucocorticoids, I told you, stimulate not only destroy of all disruption of all organic substances, but recovering of these substances as well. If our organism cannot adapt to these external factors, in this case stage of emaciation maybe, and in practical medicine in this case we have development of some diseases, pathological states and some diseases. It needs to say that now we have very strong for us situation when we have less and less physical activity, we have hypodynamia, and we have many more and more stresses in our life. And in this case, we have stimulation of catabolic reaction, but we have physiological processes which provide elimination of metabolites from our organism. That's why we have many diseases of metabolism of our body, of our hormonal status. We have some psychical disorders. For example, there are observations which say us about such effect chronic stress as influence on frequency of cold diseases, depression, development of depression, and over psychical pathological states. And of course, first of all, it's diseases of cardiovascular system and over system, digestive system as well, over systems of our body. It's very for us unpleasant, of course, but what I want to say you as well, maybe it's enough for today, but I would like to end our lecture more pleasant conclusion. This conclusion Hans Selye said us. He said, if you have not a stress, it means that you are tired. So, not so bad for us. We are living yet. It means that we have some hopes on better our future. Okay, maybe that's all for today, my dear friends. I would like that this material more or less will be useful for you in order to prepare material for practical lessons, not only during this week, but for two next week, about all endocrine system. And I would like to say you that because first lecture on endocrine system only today was, thesis of this lecture will be put on a group in Facebook later after this first lecture. And you can use this thesis of lecture in order to prepare for practical lessons. If you have some questions for me, please, I can wait your questions. I'm waiting for you. I cannot see your reaction. Thank you means that you have a question. In such case, I can say you the same. Thank you for your attention. I hope this attention was. But we'll show, so we'll see it. No questions. Okay. We'll see it when you show us your knowledge. Okay, in this case, goodbye, my dear friends, and good luck in education.